We focus a lot on the story of our life. There is an approach to therapy called narrative therapy, which, among other things, gets people to look at how they're storying their life. That if they are storying, for example, themselves as a victim of life, then how can they change the narrative? How can they change the story to become a victor? How can they look at different difficult experiences and restory them as ways in which the person has learned and grown and is moving forward. Another concept related to the life story is how we are focused a lot on what is our individual life story and how is it going? How is it progressing at this point in time is a major concern. Is it going well? Is it going poorly? Are my objectives being met and so forth? And there is a certain kind of heaviness, I believe, that goes along with carrying around one's story and focusing a lot upon it. For example, I can focus on myself in terms of I am a self-employed entrepreneur, online marketing business person. I am seeking a polyfidelitous triad. I exercise every day. I am a philanthropist. I connect with other people in Yahoo groups and try to be of help to them. These are different things that I do, all of them, you know, and that's what we're socialized to believe is who we are. But I was getting in touch this morning with this idea that every thing that I do, every aspect of my story has a certain kind of weight to it. So each of those things that I mentioned is another thing to hold. And there is a way of being that it can allow us to let go of the stories and the identities and the roles and just be. That doesn't mean we don't do anything anymore, but we just don't identify with it so much. We don't carry it around. And I think that if we can just disidentify from the socialized role of being highly invested in our story and how it's going, then that greater spaciousness can bring us into the present where we can receive greater guidance and also experience greater peace as well. And the guidance you receive may tell you to do something. Go water your flowers, you know, clean your toilet, contact someone. You don't know what's going to come out of that spaciousness, but if you're so invested in your story, then you develop tunnel vision and you can't really see outside of your expectations and your predefined role when you're existing in a tunnel. So letting go and dropping the stories and just opening yourself up to whatever comes up in the moment, it can be a more vulnerable and uncomfortable place to exist because having a rigid, solid story can be a way of protecting yourself and you're protecting your identity. But just surrendering into the moment, that can be, you know, anything can happen in that place. But if you're connected with your higher self, you don't have to really worry about bad things happening in that space. You know, there could be disillusionment, things that you have to get in touch with that you've been suppressing. But there's good stuff there as well. There's another element to this whole life story thing that I wanted to share, which is about how instead of identifying with what you do, I think it can be more powerful and effective to identify with values. What do you stand for? What are you about? What are you embracing on that level of values? Truth, honesty, transparency, vulnerability, empathy. What are these things that you care about? And if you see that as more of the essence of who you are as opposed to what you do, then that can keep you on track. As you find different situations that may test your values, if you're strongly connected to what your values are, then it becomes more clear what to do when you're at a crossroads and you could go the path of ego or the path of whatever your personal integrity is.